The next thing we're going to talk about is the finals recap from between 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid. Basically what happened, Team Liquid 3-0s pretty cleanly. First game was really exciting if you're a 100 Thieves fan because they stayed in it until Baron was stolen. Xmithie steals Baron, and then in the next few minutes, they just basically pushed through and finished the game. It was really, really depressing as a 100 Thieves fan, but Team Liquid, the Xmithie steal was just absolutely amazing, and maybe we'll talk about that in a little more detail because I want to. Game 2, pretty one-sided. Team Liquid just dominated this as well. I mean, I don't. Game 3 was the same. They kind of got Someday fed early, but they didn't play around him correctly, and then eventually Team Liquid just did their thing and just ultimately, like, they just showed they're the better team that day. Like, it was disgusting. So it was a clean 3-0. What do you guys want to talk about first?
The favorite part of that entire game, the patient. I saw a Reddit post. It was the Meteos with the patient int, where he literally sat in bot lane bush for like 2.5 minutes. Yeah. Goes in, gets kicked back into turret and dies. Best thing I've seen in a long time. And Meteos goes to the player cam. Meteos just like.
Player cams were awesome. We got a Ryu player cam.
So many.
Dude, it was real sad. Man.
So, I think best thing to start off with is 100 Thieves had been like this throughout second half of the season. And you can start seeing as they start the Baron, it starts going like this. And as it gets smited away, they go into a perfectly 90 degrees to decline. And it was such a close game. That happens, and I actually think they all tilted out of their mind.
They looked tilted. I mean, we were talking about this before too. Just 100 Thieves had a lot of mechanical misplays, like a lot. And I think everyone, I know Afromu on Alistar missed the headbutt pulverized combo. Cody's son had some just missed positions and also just missed things and just.
I love Cody's son, man, but like, listen, I watched Cody's son back when he was Massacre.
Whoa, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was TM8. He was the Massacre 8. Before he joined Immortals, and he was the Massacre. He's a great player. I love him. But you could see he was super uncomfortable on that stage, and I think that was like the big thing, right? Because I think like you can't play nervous around Doublelift for one. I think Cody's son is pretty evenly matched against Doublelift when he's on his game, right? So I think that if you give up that, he felt like he was on like a separate page. He was like 4 seconds behind the game all game. I felt like he was playing with lag. And I'm not trying to be rude because I love Cody's son, but like his Azure game was actually terrible to watch. I don't think whenever the viewers went in to see like him bot lane, I didn't see him hit a single Q. I didn't see him hit a single Q. And then the Trundle pit fight where he misses ultimate, he misses Q, and then E autos, and Trundle just gets to flash over the wall and gets healed to safety. I was so sad, dude. I couldn't watch that. I know he was killing himself over that one. I know he was killing himself. I could feel it. I just felt bad because I know Cody's son wanted to make a comeback for that play in Worlds, and that was like the big thing. And I'm sure it didn't help that like Riot did like a whole segment on like, oh, tell us why you did this play. Like, what's the one thing you wish you could change? Like, I know but it felt bad that they were milking it. But I think he's a much better player than he showed, and I hope he learns from this and he gets the chance to go back and do it again, but because he looks super uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very similar to last year, right? When he made it to finals, like I still feel like he was kind of like in awe, like he wasn't really fully there, right? And it was rough because again, that first game was close.
Mm-hmm.
In every shape and form, Xmithie, all the props for getting that smite. The MVP of that Baron steal was Impact, though.
Yeah. That's Singe.
I was looking at that Singe play, and I was just like, oh my god. like he tried to do the blast cone thing and it didn't get him in.
Yeah, that's
Where
so
Aphromoo
painful.
could not W out.
He
Just
didn't
knock
have
him
to though.
away.
All he had to do was pulverize. If you're knocked up, you can't smite.
Yeah, you can.
It's no stuns and roots you can smite, but knockups, I thought you can't.
I think not.
I think it's just
I think it's only suppression you can't. I think.
But either
Don't
way,
quote
he
me on
flashed in and smited, right? So Alistar
No,
was
he
looking for
queued
the.
in.
Oh yeah, he
to
queued
smite
in and then smited.
flashed out.
So yeah, I think I'm guessing that Aphromoo was ready to pulverize. You know, that's what everyone was saying. He wasn't thinking about the Singed Goo because who plays against Singed ever? Even in solo queue, they're probably not playing a lot of Singed. So that situation just probably never popped up or popped up very little. So even if you could pulverize, it's just like, who thinks of that? That was awesome. That was a great play by Impact. And like Aphromoo was just like, oh, well, that sucks. I mean, but
Yeah,
Meteos missed a smite. His smite didn't go down. So like it's a little bit of everyone's. Everyone to blame, but yeah.
Again, it's super unfortunate. It's just really sad to see like that Baron happen and then the game ends, right? Because this wasn't as quick as the third place match, but this was quick in terms of finals.
Yeah.
This was a quick finals, right?
Yeah,
and it was just it's sad. It's kind of like demoralizing, obviously. I mean, again, I told you guys I love 100 Thieves as an organization and stuff, and seeing them not put as much of a fight as they could was kind of just heartbreaking, right? And people would be like, "Oh, you gave up the Azir." Dude, to me that's BS, right? To me it's the team just wasn't there and didn't play according to what they needed to do, right? They scrimmed against things they thought they had the answers and they just didn't pan out. Pobelter, godlike game.
Oh yeah, he played Azir out of his mind. Holy crap.
That like Quadra like pushback where Cody-san on Ezreal ease out of the pit and gets still like clipped because it brings him back. It's just like, you know, it was unfortunate, but I think Liquid really wanted to prove themselves, right? And I think they did. I mean they won obviously, but you know, I tweeted out as a meme. It's, you know, no one should have been surprised. You put Team Liquid in fourth something, you know, you're not getting in their way.
Yeah.
By the way, knockups do cancel smite.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
That's good to know. I had no idea.
Whenever you're airborne, you can't smite.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Everything else works though.
Cool.
Okay.
So another thing I wanted to talk about with 100 Thieves, I mentioned this in the previous episode when we talked about 100 Thieves. I did not expect them to play the typical way they played around just like Cody-san being like pretty much the only way to play to carry the game, because you're against Doublelift, and Doublelift and Olay like have been looking better and better since like maybe week 8 or 9 or so. I'm not exactly sure which week, but they've been looking better at the end of the split. Going into this game, especially the first game, like they still looked great. So then when you've shown that you could put Someday on a carry like Darius, I know that's a specific matchup, but I know Someday just doesn't, like, he plays other things. And Ryu, who could carry, they still decided to build a team around Cody-san for the most part. And they didn't they just played 100 Thieves style that we've seen the last 9 weeks, 12 weeks, and they didn't switch things up. Like, hello. That hurt me a lot. And I love Prowley's drafting. I think he's a genius. I think Prowley got out drafted, and I know that the team's performance has a big play in it, but I really do think Prowley got out drafted by Kane this series. I thought Kane's drafts were really, really good.
I think a good point to also add on to that is I think we also saw where maybe the line needs to be drawn between comfort and meta, where it felt like maybe I don't know, maybe their skirmish went really well with Skarner and Meteos was killing it on Skarner, but I could not stand the Skarner pick. It felt like he was just constantly either behind or not doing enough. Like when you keep going and trading 1-for-1s when you're ganking, that's always better for the person that's in the 1v2. You know what I mean? Or like Xmithie was always in a fight. Like, doesn't matter if you get first blood. if they can turn it around and make it basically equivalent, it doesn't matter. Like you got outplayed, and it felt like no matter what they did, they always. And like even on the games where he was Skarner, I think was it the second game?
Yeah, it was first and second that he was Skarner.
Yeah, he got like second game, he got like all the kills, which is so useless. Like he took at least 3 of them. Probably not on purpose, just because he didn't know if like Ryu or whoever would be taking it. But like when you trade 1 for 1, he'd get the kill, so that completely neutralizes the point of having it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that from playing around bot side, I'd like to think that Rio and Meteos, I think the best times that they performed was the when they had the most synergy, and I would have loved to seen them go back to that. Not so much Someday, because I think Someday is sort of like the anti-impact in that sense, where he's like, he does really well in 1v1 matchups, but he's not the person that's like taking the pressure. He's the person that's putting the pressure on. He makes the lane feel like it's a 2v1, even though it's just a 1v1. Like he knows his matchups so well, and he can push advantages so well. I think that's where the power is. I think if you leave that lane to be a stalemate, even if you have Xmithie waste time up top side, and you play around mid lane and you roam with Talia, like I felt like whenever Ryu got champions that are like heavy into like roaming, they never made any 4-man plays.
Nope.
They did once for First Blood with Tristana, right?
Mm-hmm.
They made a 4-man play topside.
At the top side, yeah.
And then after that was it.
And again, that was the first game against the Singed, when like you kind of like neutralize that nuance for Someday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Someday was owning the beginning of that, and then it got flipped. And I think it's tough, especially like playing topside against Impact, and he showed that game 3. Double like he had 40 CS. He was 1-3-1 in like 15 minutes, and just dominates. So it obviously Maokai helps because that's the pick, but like it's smart, right? And I agree. I mean, that's what Clutch Gaming did to 100 Thieves, right? They didn't want the Rise, they didn't want the Talia, so Ryu was like, "Fuck it, dude. There's another champion on this that you forgot, Galio," and he'd be flying all over the map. That wasn't really present, right? And granted, like I personally would have to look more into the games, aside from just the first couple, like the first 2 times I like watched them and stuff. But it honestly, like started out as a joke, but I really do feel like the first game was the closest. If 100 Thieves wins that, this could actually go to 5, and 100 Thieves could even win potentially. But like they were clogged, right? All their minds were cloudy after that, and that's where you see like mechanical misplays and stuff like that. And also props to Liquid for the mental fortitude, right? We talked about that with Clutch Gaming, but like again, Impact, dude, hard camped on Maokai. Dude, I would have been there in solo queue. I'd been like, I'm a Maokai, leave me alone.
He had 26 CS at like 15 minutes or something like that. Like something or 14 minutes. I remember seeing Xmithie tweet it. Xmithie was like 26 CS at 14 minutes. Damn. Sorry, Impact. Like we're just gonna leave you to die, dude. Like
and I feel like sure, maybe Prolly's drafts weren't spectacular. I still enjoyed them, right? But it felt like Team Liquid had the answers as well, right? To at least go even or neutralize, right? Like the Cinch Pink in game 1 against the Ornn, right? That's an Impact special.
Yeah.
Because he pulled it out. Like, and
the Cinch was losing hard.
I mean, at the beginning, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. And then it's like, oh, Ornn's gonna knock the ult backwards. Well, he can't. Cinch W. Pulverize. Cinch W. Right? Like he was really smart at planning ahead on why that Cinch pick would work. And so I don't want to put like all the blame on Prolly as well, but like it did feel like just not like they wanted to stick with what they had been doing, but they didn't do what they had been doing
Yeah.
at the same time.
It made the draft predictable. I mean, I think Kane just sat there like, this is what they're gonna do. All right, they picked this. I know exactly what they're gonna do, and they're like playing into Team Liquid's hand. I think that's the big thing that I had a problem with, probably, because I'm like, oh, like even me, I'm not a super great analyst, and I'm like, I think I know. Oh, yep, there's the orange. Oh, yep, there's. It was just like that. That's what made me hurt a little bit. But I want to switch gears a little bit, because we've been talking about 100 Thieves kind of throwing these series. I don't think we focus at all or much on Team Liquid just playing really, really well as well. You know, we mentioned Impact behind, losing lane, down double the CS of Someday, and then he's teleporting in, getting kills, setting up plays, doing
Aftershock proc.
Impact things, right?
Aftershock is basically like giving you free stats.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes down to. He flinks somebody, he walks through the entire team, takes no damage for it. Not trying to outshine his play, just saying like he knew how to play the rune matchup. He knew how to, like, what he had to do in every fight. He just knew what he had to do, and it was really cool to watch. I think it was definitely TL playing the cleanest game that they can and having a clear strategy. I would really like to know who everybody's scrim partners were. If they just I want to know if they played with both like Clutch Gaming and Echo Fox to prep up, because it felt like TL had like Echo Fox for the whole week, and then just was like, all right, well, like, let's take what they're doing, but like scale it back like 200%, and maybe Team Liquid looks for, or I mean, maybe 100 Thieves looks for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like 100 Thieves got the scrim clutch game, and they're like, all right, well, they'll probably pick a comp like this, but maybe they'll be like really passive about it, and they just weren't. So
yeah, I mean, I think it was. If I remember from hearing the interviews after the third place match, it was like they did scrim both, right? Mm-hmm. And literally everyone was like, "Oh, Team Liquid's gonna 3-0. Team Liquid's gonna 3-1." Like just from scrims when they were asked, right? I think Phoenix was like, "I'm gonna say 100 Thieves wins 3-2 because I feel bad that no one has picked 100 Thieves." Like, I'm quite sure that's actually what he said. And again, I'm not trying to flame like 100 Thieves or anything, but I had said before that I didn't want, that a strong bot lane, one of the stronger looking bot lanes, should have always been Team Liquid's, right?
Yeah.
Doublelift and Ole. Ole was godlike last year. Doublelift is Doublelift, right? He kind of like just shines when he needs to, right? Underperforms when no one wants him to underperform. But, it's kind of like, but they've matured so much, right? As players. And, you used to see like the Doublelift, like, holy shit, I'm the best motherfucking ADC in the world, right? And they were like, wow, dude, Doublelift, you did so good. He's like, nah, man, it was my team, right? And it's just like, hold up. What'd you say, right? And Doublelift like didn't play perfectly. He had some mishaps, but he had a great playoff.
Yep.
I mean, what he ended again with like 35.3 KDA against some of the best players in North America, right? Like, that's mind blowing. And it's like Team Liquid trapped 100 Thieves to like, oh yeah, you could just keep doing what you're doing, and then they started, going for it. They consistently kept going for it. And I think, Alex, like what you said was true, right? It's like they kind of like played that Echo Fox style, but at the same time, I think it's like a mixture, because like their plays could have been like random or like low percentage, right? But they just dominated the map, right? No neutral objectives were touched aside from that Baron, and then it got stolen away, right? It's like they just got outclassed. Like, they outclassed 100 Thieves in every regard of neutral play. And you could have done so.
And that's probably a lot of Xmithie's like just veterans. Like, Xmithie doesn't usually have like huge flashy plays, but everyone respects him as like a veteran, very smart jungler. And I think you don't just get every objective in the game because you get lucky. Like, no, like, it's just, it's a very, very smart play by Xmithie and the rest of the team to control all the objectives and just completely roll over 100 Thieves.
Yeah. And again, Pobelter just he got MVP of the series for a reason. He played so good. Doesn't matter that he got a 0-3 games. People are gonna be like, "Oh, ban the Azir." Nah, don't give me that none of that shit, right? Like to perform equally all 3 games and have great plays and just know when to go. Dude, I'd like look at them clump up and go, Where's Pobelt? Oh, he's right there. He's about to flash forward, EQ, like just do some and Shurima shuffle them all the way back. And he'd do that. And I'd just be like, he done it. Now he's gonna die. Where is he? Right? Like he knows, like, yes, for this champion, he understands the champion so well, but he's still such a good player, right? Like at the beginning of this play, we were like, he might be the best mid laner right now, right? And he kind of like slump and then start to prove that again. And this series, he really showed his class, right? And it's just rough. And again, I wouldn't blame it on the draft for him getting Azir. I think he could have gotten a lot of impact champions as well.
Out of anything, yeah. I also don't think that it was much of an outdraft thing. I think it was, like I said, I'm curious to know how much it came down to allowing comfort over meta rather.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see like Meteos on Zac instead of Skarner. That's my only real complaint about drafting. Otherwise, I thought everything was really standard, except for the Cinch pick. That's really it.
And then my boy Double securing the win with Jin.
Yeah.
That hit the spot for me.
All right. Anything else?
I saw that. I was like,
anything else to talk about with this finals?
No, man. Congratulations to Team Liquid being the 4th team.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Crowned in NA LCS. Make the meme the legend. That's all you got to do. Turn your memes to dreams. He's proven it. Do it, children.
My favorite thing, obviously all the memes coming afterwards were like, oh, if people tell you can't, money can't buy happiness,
Yes.
you haven't seen how Steve looks out. Like stuff like that. I love it. I mean,
that's so funny.
It was hard fought. It sucks for 100 Thieves. Team Liquid proved themselves, right?
Hey, man.
I think everyone had like that question mark, but I think they actually did prove themselves, and I hope they do well internationally, right? Like that's kind of like the big question mark, because Doublelift hasn't gone to an MSI. Ole hasn't gone to it. Like Pobelter hasn't, right? So it's like this 2 guys, I think, or like 1 guy, like finally go to MSI. It's gonna be like exciting to see kind of like how they do. But yeah, I mean, Liquid were able to do it. So
if there's any team that can bounce back after failing in finals, it's going to be Nadeshot's team. Nobody knows it better than Nadeshot on an Optic in Call of Duty. I can't tell you how many times Optic was a favorite going into a tournament and lost and choked it. But you know what? I think he took some time, reflected as a person, and grew to realize that I think now he can be the father figure that these kids probably deserve, that he didn't have when he was at that point. So I think if there's anybody that learned how to bounce back from that, it's got to be Nadeshot. So
gotcha.
Yeah. And it's gonna be such an exciting summer.
It's gonna be great.
Shit. Like everything is on the line. It's gonna be fantastic for Worlds.
Bold predictions. Let's get a bold prediction going here before next split.
Team Liquid goes to Worlds.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the 3
Bold
teams that go to Worlds.
Yeah, bold prediction. That means they should have to get 3rd place and they go to Worlds.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a bold prediction, dude. They can finish 9th for all. It's gonna be Team Liquid. I'm gonna go, Team Liquid, 100 Thieves.
You're not gonna put TSM up there, man? And Echo Fox and Clutch. I don't know about Clutch Gaming.
It's there's so many. Actually,
I don't even know what Clutch Gaming's
bold. All right, ready? All right, I'm going bold. I'm actually going out there. Team Liquid, Echo Fox, and TSM are the 3 representatives.
Oh, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought he said something about TSM?
Yeah,
Jesus.
had to.
All right, Sam, what about you? Bold predictions.
Optic Gaming is going to pick up 2 amazing players
Yes, I believe.
and still get 5th. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I'm not going to talk about this now. I'll save it for. We'll probably do it. Well, actually, I do want to do an episode on like what we think is going to happen with the teams going into summer split, especially because I think what we've seen about best of ones is that holy crap, they're volatile and it doesn't give enough time for these teams to like to reach their potential. So going into summer split, I think we're going to see what we wanted to see this split. And that can mean a lot for different teams. So I think it deserves its own episode. So we'll get into that. But if you want to do a bold prediction, you can right now.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to give Sam a way out, he wants you to comment below what your bold prediction is so that he can use them later on. He wants to rip you off is really what he's trying to get at. My bold prediction, Optic comes back with a solid team. They come back. Arrow becomes the next best AD carry in North America. Cloud9 take the 3rd seed by going through the gauntlet again because it's destiny.
Because they pick up High.
Yeah, because High and Reaper all of a sudden fuse into one meta person.
Reaper gets back into playing.
I think TSM goes below 6th place.
Yeah, man.
That is probably. I think that's the boldest prediction.
He said that this year, dude. This split.
And look where they are, baby. Look where they are.
5/6. You're
All right, so that is it for this episode of the Eye of the Watchers podcast. We will see you guys next week.
See you guys.